So what's the most important technique that you need to learn in order to play the pentatonic scale or the blues scale efficiently? Well, to my mind, it's this. Just the humble trill. And why is that? Well, you find, irrespective of whether you're playing threes or fours or fives, or whether you're freestyling over any position, that's the movement that you seem to fall back on all the time when you're moving across any position on the neck. And this is important because, interestingly, this movement is one of the simplest movements to develop, but it's one of the toughest movements to perfect. And you see this all over the place. I know a lot of advanced players who can fly around 3 notes per string scales. They can fly around sweep picks. But when you give them a fast line to play, which uses a pentatonic scale, they start to fall over. And why is that? It's because they haven't developed the trill sufficiently to be able to move quickly around the shape. And that's really what I want to focus on this week. So what I thought I'd do is I'd split this lesson into 2 halves. The first half is I'll give you 3 exercises that you can work on in order to develop this, in order to start moving this around the neck nice and efficiently. And then the second half, I thought I'd talk about a practice strategy that you can use in order to quickly and efficiently develop these kinds of techniques. And I thought I'd point to a few research articles as well that cover this as well. So let's start with a basic technique. Okay, so I'm up on the 7th fret playing the B minor pentatonic. And I'll just work in this one position to demonstrate it, but you need to be able to play these across all 5 positions. So the first exercise is this. So that's a fundamental shape, a little 8-note pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you can see I'm starting on that low E string, the lowest note on the E string, going all the way up to the D string and then back down to the A, and then from there we start on the A string. Start on the D string, same pattern on the G string, and just here we turn it around by starting on the B. You can see how I finished on the G string, starting there. And that finishes the pattern off. Obviously I can keep going round and round this pattern if I want to. So that's the first one. Second one, very similar, but all we're going to do is a little 6-note pattern this time. We start on the bottom E, finish on the A, and then back down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we'll start on the A, start on the D, all the way across to the B to the E, and then from here we go. And turn it around again. And again I can do that over and over and go round and round that shape. So that's a 6-note pattern. Third exercise is this. Little 4-note shape this time. 1, 2, 3, 4. From there I move on to the A string. And then I turn it around like that to the B. And like I say, you should be able to move into the next position. Play exactly the same thing again. So let's talk about the practice strategy. What I want you to do is to just pick one of the exercises on one of the positions on the neck. Let's say the first position, first exercise. And just keep working on that until you feel yourself improve and until you feel the movement starting to stabilize a little bit. So take it at a pace that's a little bit challenging, but something that you can get under your fingers, something that you know you're going to get right at some point. And just keep working on that for a minute or so until it starts to feel like it's stabilizing. And once that happens, what I want you to do is change the exercise and change the position. So let's say you go for the second one and the second position on the neck. And again, work on that one until it starts to stabilize, until it starts to feel a little bit easier under your hands. And then once that happens, we're going to change the position, we're going to change the exercise again. And just keep doing this. It's going to feel really frustrating, and you probably feel like you're not making much progress, when in fact you actually are. And this can be one of the most efficient ways of developing a skill like this really quickly. So why is that? So what you're doing is you're recalling shapes over and over again, a different shape, bringing that back into mind, and you're reconsolidating that movement again with some variability. You're changing things up, you're varying it, and reconsolidating the new learning with the old skills that you've got, and you're doing that over and over again. The other thing you're doing is that you're making mistakes, but you're also fixing them and you're stabilizing, and you're doing that over and over again at a much faster rate than you would normally do if all you do is to stay in one position and one exercise and drill it for 10-15 minutes or whatever. And this act of recalling, fixing, reconsolidating with variation is the thing that accelerates the learning. And there are actually a couple of scientific studies that cover this. I'll put some links in the field below that explain exactly why this could be happening and how this can accelerate your learning at a much greater rate than you would if you didn't use a technique like this. So I think it's something that's definitely worth experimenting with and seeing how it works for you. Now what I want you to do this week actually is to focus on this, but because what I want to do in one of the future videos is take some of these ideas and push them a little bit further. So we're starting with these pentatonic ideas, and we're going to move into changing positions using different movements again building out that technique and building out the pentatonic fundamental techniques that should accelerate your learning and will actually help you playing in many different aspects of playing the guitar as well. So we'll chat next time.